As a child, I was fascinated by the legend of the global flood. The life of our civilization was approaching the sunset. People's days were numbered. The water level rose higher and higher. Streams of rain flooded the last people on the mountain tops. People who were banished for disobeying and credulity did not understand their guilt. They just wanted to live. They just loved their children. They just dreamed of returning to their homes. From a scientific point of view, all the water on the planet is not enough to drown all the things. But in the grand scheme of things, what is the difference between us and all? After all, if a terrible element flooded your city or your country or an entire continent, would you be able to survive? Does news fit you at only the lucky few? It happened on the morning of the 26th of December in the year 2004, 160 kilometers west of the island of Sumatra. Millions of years until this day, the ancient confrontation of the giants continued imperceptibly. The Indian lithospheric plate, which was once part of the single continent of Gondwana, burst with increasing force on the neighboring Eurasian plate. Twisted it and tried to squeeze it upwards from a depth of 50 kilometers until the rising retention shot at like a compressed sponge. The ancient giant plates slipped relative to each other, and with a terrible impact the seafloor was thrown up and curved several meters for almost 1,500 kilometers. The point where the cataclysm occurred is part of the Pacific Ring of Fire. More than 90% of the largest earthquakes on our planet occur there, and tectonic plate shifts occur regularly every few centuries. However, at that time there was no system for redetection of tsunamis in the Indian Ocean, nor a system for alerting the population of coastal areas, and carefree tourists continued to enjoy sunbathing on the golden sand, play with children and dive in the extremely beautiful and safe ocean. Huge masses of water received the underground impulse of incredible force and moved from the epicenter towards the coast. Ted Murphy, Vice President of the Tsunami Society, estimates the total energy of these waves at 5 megatons in TNT equivalent. This is twice the combined power of all the munitions detonated during World War II, including 2 atomic bombs. But in the first years after the earthquake, the wave height did not exceed 10 centimeters. Having met such a wave in the open ocean, the vessel will not even feel the swell, but as the front of the wave begins to slow down into the coastal shallows, the height of the shaft increases dramatically with each successive moment. At the moment when the inhabitants of the coast and tourists saw the terribly incredible wave and realized that it brought death to all living things, its height reached 15 meters. This water monster made an unexpected impact on the shores of Indonesia, Sri Lanka, India, Thailand and other countries. People who rested on the warm sand under the hot sun, slept under the air conditioners in their rooms, chose lines on the menu before breakfast at a local restaurant. Everyone was taken by surprise. A dark wall of water swept away the beach with sunbeds and umbrellas in the first seconds, but with the same ease, without noticing the spark. After 1 or 2 minutes she was already breaking the overpass. Ramp cars, destroying the man-made metal and concrete. It didn't even matter who could win better. A stream of overturned cars, uprooted palm trees and thousands of tons of smaller debris engulfed everything in its path. Broke deep into the shore for a distance of several kilometers and threw everything there, without disassembling the twisted metal and the corpus of people. An hour after the disaster, people lucky enough to survive the first killing blow continued to die without medical attention in destroyed houses, under fallen trees and from their injuries, just lay in the dirt. Only a day later, the first had managed to break through the garbage barricades built by the giant wave and help those who managed to survive until that moment. Later, It was estimated that 300,000 people were left under the rubble of buildings, or were crushed by the flood on the coast during those days. Some of them were never found, and they are considered missing. The greedy ocean must have taken their bodies as the water pushed them back. A terrible tragedy, but it seems that such a tsunami cannot threaten all of humanity, but only certain regions. But if the source of the wave is in an earthquake, what about something worse? This is the ancient Chicxulub crater. Its monstrous dimensions are 180 kilometers in diameter, and the initial depth is up to 20 kilometers. It was formed almost 67 million years ago, when an asteroid with a diameter of more than 10 kilometers crashed into the peninsula known to us as Yucatan at a tremendous speed. The impact on the site of the asteroid is estimated to be 100 peritons in TNT equivalent. And this is exactly 1 million earthquakes in the Indian Ocean. What do you think about the size of a tsunami 50 meters high? And 100. It is difficult to imagine the consequences of a wave capable of sweeping across all continents from ridge to edge across the planet. But one thing is obvious. Among those who survive, there will be units. And it is far from a fact that they will be satisfied with such happiness in the conditions of their new life. Now look closely, because the asteroid just hit the beach, and the amount of water ejected was really small. If it were to hit an open ocean, such as the Mariana Trench, which is just as deep as the asteroid, it's like they were made for each other. Right now, we would be you and me if we were dinosaurs. Yes, a tsunami is a terrible, deadly disaster. But its blow is delivered instantly, and after it humanity has time to recover its strength and take some measures. For example, to build a system for redetection of tsunamis for the rapid evacuation of coastal areas. But even more terrible flood scenarios are possible. When the water level rises for a long time or even forever. In 2015, NASA experts showed that the level of the world ocean is rising faster than expected, and during the coming decades it will rise by 90 centimeters. If the warming trend continues, the creatures at the bowels of our planet will continue to melt, and the level of the world's oceans will rise and rise until all the ice on the planet turns to liquid. Before you use a map of the continents in such a future. At the first glance, it may seem that the fauna looks the same as before. However, when brought challenge, the scale of the tragedy becomes clear. Such huge cities as Calcutta and Shanghai, with a combined population of nearly 19 million, will be swallowed up by the ocean. The real disaster will occur in densely populated areas of Southeast Asia, China, Bangladesh, and Indonesia. Areas where more than a billion people life will disappear underwater. The annual reduction of land mass will present new challenges to humanity. The area of arable land will decrease, and there will not be enough food for humanity. The new ocean space will increase the humidity of the atmosphere with their vapors, and eternal rains will flood the overcrowded cities of the continents. But there is also good news. The rise of the level and flooding of the lands will occur for decades or even centuries. And we will have a chance to do something in time to ensure the possibility of survival in the reduced territory. It will probably be fast birth control, mass production of chemical food and new architecture of high-rise cities. Of course, humanity feels safe. When considering the possible scenarios of the apocalypse, a pandemic or a world war usually come up, but not a global flood. Few people believe him, but in fact the ancient Sumerians, Greeks, Arabs, Hindus and Chinese knew about the flood, often without the opportunity to communicate and transfer this knowledge to each other. We can only guess how terrible and deadly the ancient catastrophe was, for the peoples of the world preserved the memory of it, even after thousands of generations. I wonder how likely it is to happen again. We know that the terrible force of the impact of the wave and the lack of food encompassed an overpopulated area or the most terrible threats to humanity in tsunamis and floods. But now you will understand that there are more dangerous factors that were not created by unbridled elements. We create them ourselves. In the history of mankind, you can find many different examples of the organization of ways of survival. And now I will show you two examples among the most recent ones. This is footage of the tsunami in Japan in the year 2005. About 18,000 people died under the impact of the terrible elements, and tens of thousands of survivors were cut off from the world. There was no running water and electricity in the affected areas. Colossal damage was done to the country's economy. How did local residents save themselves? The answer is this. In difficult times, there were no crimes, victims showed high mutual benefit, everyone understood mutual social responsibility. No one stepped forward when distributed food. No one pushed the women and children in line to the rescuers. All along the coast, thousands of ATMs were overturned and broken by the elements, but not a single yen was lost from them. The best qualities of airbursts, which were referred by the victims to each other, helped to save and preserve many lives. But there are other rules of survival: reject all stages of evolution and turn into an animal. This is footage of New Orleans. As a result of the attack of Hurricane Katrina in the year 2005, 80% of the city was flooded. Most of the residents were evacuated in advance. The lives of the remaining people were objectively not threatened by anything except their people. Gangs of marauders on boats first seized gun stores, then jewelry stores. The city was taken by a wave. No, not a tsunami, but a wave of human violence. In just 2 weeks, food and women became the main human values in the captured city, as they were tens of thousands of years ago. It got to the point that the police were able to enter the city to restore order only with the support of the National Guard. If we want to be prepared for the apocalypse, be it a flood or any other disaster, we must not start with fuel and food reserves, not with the ability to hunt and get water. First we have to ask ourselves, who are we? Humans who built a civilization with the support of their own kind, or predators who survive at the expense of the weak? Write your opinion in the comments, but remember the truth about yourself. We learn only through practice, and it may turn out to be unexpected for us.